You guys ready for another mind reading session? I think so. You're wondering, how can Allah make me forget myself? Like, how does that align with human psychology? So in the Quran, in chapter 59, verse 19, Allah says, "Do not be like those who forgot Allah, so He made them forget themselves." What is the self that Allah is referring to when He's saying He made them forget themselves? I mean, most of us don't really go around forgetting the fact that we exist. So let's try to understand what the self could be that Allah Ta'ala is referring to psychologically. Carl Jung, who is considered by many to be one of the greatest psychologists that lived over the past couple hundred years, he says that the part of you that is paying attention to this video right now is actually a very tiny part of your entire real self. And this part that's aware is called your ego. Think of the ego as the focal point of your consciousness, meaning it is the part of your psyche which makes sense of your surroundings by bringing them into awareness. And in order to make sense of the world and operate within the world, your ego needs to select which things it needs to be aware of. And of course, selection of some things, by definition, means rejection of other things. Ego consciousness can be compared to the eye. It selects what to focus on. That's how it operates. Without this selection process, you would be completely overwhelmed with all the input coming in from everywhere. Here's the key question though. What's happening to all that input, all that information that your ego is choosing to reject when it selects some things? Great question. Mostly people just assume that all that extra information just goes away into nothingness, like throwing it in the trash. That would mean all you are is your ego. But about 150 years ago, Sigmund Freud discovered that there is something else within our psyche that is capturing all that information that's being discarded by the ego. And this has been verified through hypnosis and other methods. So basically what I'm saying is that there's an entire unconscious that is taking in a bunch more information than our conscious ego. So Carl Jung, Freud's star student, developed Freud's ideas even further and discovered an entire world of unconscious activity that's going on in the psyche. And the ego is the part of the psyche that's consciously aware. But that's just a small part of the entire human psyche. And he said that the entire psyche is the actual true self of the individual. And that true self, that individual self, knows much more than the psyche. The ego must not forget that there is a true self that knows much more than the ego, and it must not lose touch with this real self. Otherwise, suffering and mental instability will happen. Could this be the true self that Allah is referring to when He says He made them forget themselves? I'm asking, could Allah be saying He will cause people's egos to forget their true selves?